In the year of our Lord 1806, we set sail from the cold Cape Port, and we were sailing away with a cargo of bricks for the grand city hall in New York. Well, we'd an elegant craft, it was rigged fore and aft, and how the trade winds drove her. She had 23 masts, and she stood several blasts, and they called her the Irish Rover. Well, there was Barney the Heat from the banks of the Lee, there was Hogan from county Tyrone, and there was Johnny the Girl, who was scared stiff of work, and the chap from West Heath named Malone. Well, there was Slugger O'Toole, who was drunk as a rule, and fighting Bill Tracy from Dover, and her man McCann from the banks of the Bann was the skipper of the Irish Rover. Well, we had 1,000,000 bags of the best Sligo rags, we had 2,000,000 barrels of bone, and we had 3,000,000 bales of old Nanny goat's tails, we had 4,000,000 barrels of stone, and we had 5,000,000 hogs and 6,000,000 dogs, and 7,000,000 barrels of porter. We had 8,000,000 sides of old blind horses' hides in the hold of the Irish Rover. Well, we had sailed 7 years when the measles broke out, and our ship lost its way in the fog, and the whole of the crew was reduced down to 2. 'Twas myself and the captain's old dog. Well, then the ship struck a rock, oh Lord, what a shock, and nearly tumbled over, turned 9 times around, and the poor old dog was drowned. I'm the last of the Irish Rover. Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, mighty odd. He had a brogue, both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hod. You see, the sort of the tippler's way, with a love for the liquor he was born, and to help him on with his work each day, he'd a drop of the crather every morn.
Whack full of data, best to your partner, rub the floor, your trotter to shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake.
One morning Tim felt rather full, his head felt heavy, which made him shake. He fell from the ladder and he broke his skull, and they carried him home his corpse to wake. They rolled him up in a nice clean sheet, and laid him out upon the bed, with a bottle of whiskey at his feet, and a bottle of porter at his head.
Whack full of data, dance to your partner, rub the floor, your trotter to shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake.
His friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. First she brought him tea and cake, then pipes, tobacco and whiskey punch. Biddy O'Brien began to cry, such a nice clean corpse did you ever see? And Tim aboard, and why did you die? And shut your mouth, says Paddy McGee.
Whack full of data, dance to your partner, rub the floor, your trotter to shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake.
Then Maggie O'Connor took up the job. Oh, Biddy, says she, you're wrong, I'm sure. He gave her a belt and a gob, and she left her sprawling on the floor. Then the war did soon engage, was woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and a
Rowan eruption soon began. Whack-footed on a dance you partner well before your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake.
Then Mickey Maloney raised his head when a bottle of whiskey flew at him. It missed him falling on the bed, the liquor scattered over Tim. Because he revives, see how he rises, Timothy rising from the bed, saying, whirling your whiskey around like blazes.
Thunder and lightning, you think I'm dead? Back-footed on out and see a partner well before your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake. Back-footed on out and see a partner well before your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's wake. The October winds lament around the castle of Dromore, yet peace is in her lofty halls, my loving treasure store. Though autumn leaves may droop and die, a bud of spring are you, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo, man, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo. Bring no ill will to hinder us, my helpless babe and me. Dread spirits of that black water, Clan Owen's wild banshee, and Holy Mary pitying us in heaven for grace doth sue, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo, man, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo. Take time to thrive, my ray of hope, in the garden of Dromore. Take heed, young eaglet, till thy wings are feathered fit to soar. A little rest, and then the world is full of grace to do. Sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo, man, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo, man, sing hush-a-by-loo-la-loo. I close my eyes and picture the emerald of the sea, from the fishing boats at Dingle to the shores of Donadee. I miss the river Shannon and the folks at Skillery, the moorlands and the meadows their 40 shades of green. But most of all, I miss a girl in Tipperary town. And most of all, I miss her lips, as soft as eider down. Again, I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green. And I wish that I could spend an hour at Dublin's churning surf, and I'd love to watch the farmers drain the bogs and spade the turf, to see again the thatching of the straw the women glean. Sure, I'd walk from Cork to Larne to see the 40 shades of green. But most of all, I miss a girl in Tipperary town. And most of all, I miss her lips, as soft as eider down. Again, I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green. Most of all, I miss a girl in Tipperary town. And most of all, I miss her lips, as soft as eider down. Again, I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green.
Song for you this evening, it's not to make you sad, nor for adding to the sorrows of our troubled northern land. But lately I've been thinking, and it just won't leave my mind. I'll tell you of two friends one time who were both good friends of mine. Isaac Scott from Baylor, he lived just across the fields, a great man for the music and the dancing and the reels. MacDonald came from South Armagh to court young Alice Fair. We'd often meet on the Ryan Road, and laughter filled the air. There were roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. Now Isaac, he was Protestant, and Sean was Catholic born, but it never made much difference, for their friendship it was strong. Sometimes in the evening, when we heard the sound of drums, we said they won't divide us, we always will be one. For the ground our fathers plowed in, the soil it's just the same, and the places where we say our prayers have just got different names. We talked about the friends who died, and we hoped there'd be no more. It was little then we realized the tragedy in store. There were roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. It was on a Sunday morning when the awful news came round. Another killing had been done just outside Newry town. We knew that Alan danced up there, we knew he liked the band. But when he heard that he was dead, we could not understand. We gathered at the graveside on that cold and rainy day. The minister, he closed his eyes, for no revenge he prayed. And all of us who knew him from along the Ryan Road, we bowed our heads and we said a prayer for the resting of his soul. There were roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. Now fear had filled the countryside, there was fear in every home. And late at night a car came prowling round the lonely Ryan Road. A Catholic would be killed tonight to even up the score. Oh God, it's young MacDonald they've taken from his door. Isaac was my friend, he cried, he begged them with his fear. But centuries of hatred have ears that cannot hear. For an eye, it was all that filled their mind. And another eye for another eye, till everyone is blind. There were roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. My song for you this evening, it's not to make you sad, nor for adding to the sorrows of our troubled northern land. But lately I've been thinking, and it just won't leave my mind. I'll tell you of two friends one time who were both good friends of mine. Now I don't know where the moral is or where the song should end, but I wonder just how many wars are fought between good friends. And those that give the orders, they are not the ones to die. It's Scott and MacDonald and the likes of you and I. There were roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. There were roses, there were roses. of the people ran together. As I was going o'er the far Finnegan mountains, I met with Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. I first produced me pistol and then produced me rapier, said, "Stand and deliver, for I am your bold deceiver." Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full of daddy-o, whack full of daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I counted out his money, and it paid a pretty penny. I put it in me pocket and I took it home to Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me, but the devil take that woman, for she never could be easy. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I went up to the chamber, all for to take a slumber. I dreamt of gold and jewels, and for sure it was no wonder. But Jenny blew me charges, and she filled them up with water, then sent for Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. And 'twas early in the morning, just before I rose to travel, up comes a band of footmen and likewise Captain Farrell. I first produced me pistol, for she stole away me rapier. I couldn't shoot the water, so a prisoner I was taken. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. And if anyone can aid me, 'tis my brother in the army. If I can find his station in Cork or in Killarney, and if he'll go with me, we'll go rolling through Kilkenny. And I'm sure he'll treat me better than me darling sporting Jenny. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. There's some take delight in the carriages a-rolling, and others take delight in the hurling and the bowling. But I take delight in the juice of the barley, and courting pretty fair maids in the morning, bright and early. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Bush-a-ring-a-ma-doo-rum-a-da. Whack full the daddy-o, whack full the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. The night was still, the fight was ended. The moon shone down on O'Connell Street. I stood alone where brave men perished. Some have gone, their God to me. The first I met was a gray-haired father, searching for his only son. I said, "Old man, it's no use you searching, for unto heaven your son has gone." The next I met kneeling by her lover's side, she prayed to God, her heavenly Father, asking him her steps to guide. Next I met was a dying rebel, lying low. These words he cried, God bless my old sweet Tipperary, God bless the land for which I died. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country bold. He fought for Ireland, and Ireland only. The harp, the shamrock, green, white, and gold.
On a clear and frosty morn, we sailed out from our port. Just south of Newfoundland, boys, we were bound, where the cold and raging sea is as rich as it is deep. Now the halibut bold and mighty boys are found, and we're hauling night and day just to earn the eastern bay. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow, but you won't find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. Well, our schooner served us well, she took us through the swells, so we reached our destination in good time. When the captain gave a shout, we sent the dories out to set the trawls and attach the end in the lines. And we're hauling night and day just to earn an eastern day. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow, but you'll find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. But the storm it soon set in, bringing snow and driving winds, and our noble captain's eyes soon filled with fear. He said, I'll give off all our key to the dark and frigid deep, but I'll be flogged if I will give up all our gear. So we're hauling night and day just to earn an eastern day, and we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow, but you won't find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. So we heaved and so we hauled, and we gathered in our trawl. Back to our ship we tried to make our way, but in the storm and fading light, well, our ship we did lose sight. Then the ocean doused us with her icy spray, and we're hauling night and day just to earn an eastern bay. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow, but you won't find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. All through the bitter night, boys, bravely we did fight, with our hands and feet all frozen to the bone. And we swore with every breath, as we battled with old death, that we wouldn't stop until we made it home. And we're hauling night and day just to earn a decent pay. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow. But you won't find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. When the dawn she rolled around, well, our dory it was found many miles off the coast of Newfoundland. All battered, stiff and worn, we made it through that storm, but there were many who never lived to sail again. And we're hauling night and day just to earn a decent pay. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow. But you will find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. And we're hauling night and day just to earn a decent pay. And we're fighting wind and wave and ice and snow. But you will find a fisherman who would rather be on land than out upon the wild and restless foam. Than out upon the wild and restless foam.
By the black velvet band, her eyes they shone like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll down Broadway, needing not long for to stay. When who should I meet but this pretty fair maid of a traipsing along the highway? She was both fair and handsome, her neck it was just like a swan's, and her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Her eyes they shone like diamonds. I thought her hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll with this pretty fair maid, and a gentleman passing us by. Well, I knew she meant the doing of him by the look in her roguish black eye. A gold watch she took from his pocket and placed it right into my hand. And the very next thing that I said it was bad luck to the black velvet band. Her eyes they shone like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Before the judge and the jury, next morning I had to appear. The judge, he says to me, young man, your case it is perfectly clear. We'll give you 7 years penal servitude to be spent far away from the land, far away from your friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes they shone like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. So come all you jolly young fellows, I'll warn them you take by me. When you are out on the town, me boys, you feel with strong drain, oh yeah, till you are able to stand. And the very next thing that you'll know is you've landed in Van Diemen's land. Her eyes, they show like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair is hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Her eyes, they show like diamonds, I